on this platform. So I'm going to really hand over to Sister Jurita. And I know that we're going to be dealing with COVID. We're going to be dealing with obesity. We're going to be dealing with the deficiency of vitamin D and whatever that, anything that comes into your mind. And brothers and sisters, if there's any questions, please make sure you put it in the Q&A box, not in the chat room. Put it in the Q&A box, and we will definitely be asking those questions. So brothers, we thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for spending this time with us and sharing your wisdom.
All right, Brother Andrew.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having us. We've been looking forward to this from August. We was like, we thought, you know what, we'll be back by like November and things. February now, it's a new year. So yeah, we had to do some press ups and get ourselves buffed for today, trying to look good.
Absolutely.
You're looking good. You're looking good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Listen, Brother Andrew, Jurita, I know you're probably going to, ask questions or everything, but just very quickly, just want to really just celebrate everyone you've had on the platform, everyone that's joined these platforms. So often nowadays, people are so afraid to search for the truth, right? There's a big thing over here about mainstream media. And back in the day, we thought the BBC was the best thing in the world. They have the BBC World Service, and they were so eloquent, and they talked about issues that you didn't hear about on ITV. So you thought, yeah, BBC is the one. But now, especially with COVID, we're going to get onto that, you start to see and look through the cracks. These institutions, I don't care, BBC, Al Jazeera, ITN, CNN, flipping Sky News,
MSNBC.
They are all agents.
Establishment.
For the misinformation.
Right.
You notice the Reuters, Bloomberg, and there are so many hidden AP. You guys are familiar with the AP, Associated Press. These are organizations that actually formulate and collect the news and then feed to these organizations, and then they put the dress on it and then give it out to us, which is why so many of us are so misinformed, because they've taught us to be afraid of this, and to be afraid of people like you. So we really appreciate you guys having this platform for us to come.
Brothers, as I said, this is the first time I'm meeting you like this in reality. We've been texting each other, emailing, what have you, okay? And brothers, I love the unity that I see between the two of you, man. Love it. That's what we need to build. It's all yours, Kings.
All right. So, Juri, I don't know if you wanted to.
Yeah, I still have this video that I played the last time that you were on. And for those of the people who are new, I think it might be a good introduction. So I'm just going to quickly play this as your introduction, which is, this video of you already. Kind of tells you what you were doing before and how you got into doing what you are doing now. And then I will pass it on to you. I don't think I pressed the share sound button, so let me try that one again, because that's not going to work otherwise. Here we are. Let's try this.
I'm Dr. Amsu Ampu. I'm an endocrinologist. I studied endocrinology, neuroendocrinology, and metabolism, which is the study of hormones, the endocrine glands, and how the body distributes nutrients. You see, I have a major beef with Western medicine. It omits nutrition. Nutrition should be the focal point. It should be the actual axis of all medicine. It's responsible for how cells operate. It's responsible for providing, the correct chemicals for hormones, for glands, for your heart, for your brain, your central nervous system. It is the focal point, and it's being left out. Pharmaceuticals are synthesized chemicals. They're highly cytotoxic, which means they poison cells. And the aftermath of that is side effects. So you have, if you watch any commercial out there, you'll see, side effects may include fever, coughing. Then you have major side effects, cause blindness, cause liver failure, kidney failure, heart failure, ruptured spleen, so the side effects range from mild to death, fatality. To include nutrition, to include natural medicines that are from low to zero cytotoxicity, and to change the way how people eat, diet, people's diets, how they practice daily things, lifestyle habits, how they wash, how they sleep, how often they work out. We have an opportunity to be great, and we're losing out on that because of Western practices and habits.
All right, so that's what we left there. I'm not too sure exactly how you want to go about today, but we can do anything that you'd like, I guess.
Well, let's discuss.
We'll discuss. Yeah. So let's talk about then. I said how you got into this, how you started the business, how you started the Great Black Tea Talks. What was your motivation? What was your passion? What was the first thing that said, this is what I want to do?
All right. So going back to the very beginning, when I was a young teenager, my mom had fibroids. Didn't know what they were, had no idea. Didn't know she had fibroids. All I know, my mom had an operation. She had a hysterectomy. What's a hysterectomy? Oh, they took my womb out. And basically, she had to convalesce. She went and had an operation at the end of June, which was summer holidays for us in the UK, right? Summer holidays. July through like the beginning of September is summer holiday. My whole summer holidays was gone because my mum was like, you're staying in to take care of me. I was like 13. So I had enough sense not to break anything. I was old enough to go shops on my own to buy her stuff. I was old enough to recognize the bell when she rang the bell. So my whole summer holidays was toast. And I was brewing. I was selfish. So I was like, you know what? Why did I have to go through this? What happened to you? Why are you sick? Why did you get sick? Why you get sick in the summer? Why you have to do that? So I looked after my mum, and through asking her questions, it was, her uterus was taken out. Her womb was taken out. And it sparked my interest in human anatomy, especially with, this was an reproductive disorder. So it sparked me in, because I had no interest in biology before this point, right? I was physics, engineering. I still got the engineer spirit in me, but it was more, along them sides, because every black man back in the day, what you want to be? Mechanic. Yeah. That was the most masculine thing you could answer. Mechanic. If you said I want to be a biologist, it's like Steve. You might get robbed. So
which part of London were you guys from? Because that's not happening where I was.
Wait, that was the standard. If you were ever asked what you want to be when you grow up, you gotta say mechanic or stunt man. You have to say something that's hard, So it got my interest in that side of biology, and that put me into endocrinology and metabolism, which is that study of the endocrine system and how we process and distribute nutrients around the body and how we grow, what's activated at certain portions of our lives, growth and decay, or apoptosis, which is the destruction of cells back into the fold to be reutilized in that. So as we start off as children, then we go through puberty, then we go into adulthood, and there are glands and hormones, peptides, neurotransmitters, and all these things are initiated as we get older, as we mature, and some, if we don't look after ourselves, they decline over time. So I went into that field of study. Now, I knew, and this is no disrespect to the UK man them, right? But the market for helping our people, we all look to the United States. Most black organizations that we aspire to become, our influences all came from the United States. So it's like, all right, I want to make a difference, and I want to make a difference on a larger scale. So I'm going to America. So I moved my family over here, but I had to learn the system and everything on how to correctly set up organization, how to correctly do what I do, because I am not an MD. I am not a licensed practitioner, and I did not want to become a regulated licensed practitioner where regulated is the operative word. Regulated means restricted, means that you are basically censored. I'm an outspoken person by nature, so I did not want to be tied down, put into a pigeonhole of restrictions and that. So I studied on how to be able to do what I do without having to answer to any particular body, right? And one of the things when I was at school that really disgusted me was cure. The term cure is taboo. You can't say cure. You can't try to cure anything. It's about management, treatment, and management, right? Suppression, right? And nothing about allopathic medicine is about real remedy, right? So one thing leads to another. So, I was dismayed and like, no, I'm not, I can't be under this institution. So my thing was, I started getting into things that spoke about curing, African medicine, TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, right? Where they're actually dealing with root causes, right? The etiology of disease, the pathogenesis of disease, and through my knowledge of the human body, endocrinology and metabolism, what actual nutrients, chemicals the body needs for particular ailments to correct itself, to reach homeostasis, which is basically cure, right? So I set up electric food, right? Electric PHOOD, to deal with remedy, to actually practice remedy, to actually deal with what's the root cause of a situation and remove the root cause, remove the toxicity, remove the actual cause of any ailment or condition. So I started seeing people as a nutritionist. What's best for me to eat? What do I need to leave out of my diet? And I created supplements, because I was studying Ayurveda and TCM and African medicine. It was all about, all right, there's something for every disease. And while I was out here, I was introduced to Dr. Sebi and to his paradigm. I was like, okay, he's managed to, without quote unquote, without having an education, to do all this stuff. So if I apply my education, my background to this, I can really make some differences. So when I started interviewing and doing consultations with Black women, because my whole thing was, I'm dealing with Black people. I'm dealing with old Kevins or Karens, right? I'm dealing with Black people. I found out that like at least 95% of the women I was speaking to had fibroids, right? Some of those who had fibroids had endometriosis, endo. Some of them had PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. So I'm like, wait, this is, so I started looking into it, looking at papers out there, white papers on the subject. And, what they were saying is that Black women were 2 to 3, some papers said 3 to 4, right? Times more likely to suffer with fibroids. So I was like, man, this is crazy. So I would just go up to random Black women, let them know, I'm in endocrinology and, female reproductive health. Do you suffer from any female reproductive? And like, no word of a lie, like 9 out of 10, yeah, I got fibroids. Anything else? Some of them again, so I was like, all right, I have to do something about this. So I started researching everything surrounding reproductive health of women, and I put together this book here called Got Fibroids, the Fibroid Elimination Bible, right? Took me about about a year to write it, but that was the focus. So when Electric Food, we did a launch for Electric Food, that was the main thing, was female reproductive health, The main
So,
thing.
what would you say then? Because I mean, I guess we've heard the raw food disciple who came on just before you saying, you know, stop eating everything, stop eating any meat, stop eating or stop cooking your food if necessary. Just try and keep it as, you know, as nature provides it. I've been pescatarian now for, oh God, since I was 11. So how long that be now? 24 years, because I'm 25 now, of course. So yeah, 24 years pescatarian, and still, obviously, still came down with this thing. And obviously now, because of what you've taught me, actually, even though I still do eat fish every now and again, I can pretty much probably count it, you know, once or twice for the week, and then that's me done. I won't eat any more than that. But what do you say in terms of food? What are you saying people should have?
Well, Jarita, you actually said two things there, two very profound things. Pescatarian since 11, meaning you eat fish and then mostly vegetables, right? So there are two red herrings there. One of the most common misconceptions about health generally is this pescatarian thing. Okay, I'm going to stop eating meat, which they mean red meat, pork, ham, spam, jam, clam, and I'm going to eat food from the sea, because food from the sea is wild and natural. But here's the thing, since the 1950s, 1960s, since the heavy industrialization of food and major farming of fish is often worse than meat.
Oh, don't tell me this now. Come on. Give me
If you live in anywhere that's landlocked and you're eating tuna, so we're in the West and we're eating fish that's coming from Alaska, right? We're eating fish that's coming from Thailand. What are the big fish now? Whiting, snapper, tilapia is a big fish now. Where did that come from?
Escovitch.
Yes, these are farm-raised fish. What is a farm-raised fish? A farm-raised fish is something that's raised in a pen, in a cubicle. That's, you know, fish aren't allowed to roam wild. They're in a cubicle. They're literally fighting over each other. The water's shallow. All their feces are in there. They put in the antibiotics. They're feeding them pellets, mercury. They're feeding them hormones. They're coloring the fish through feed. So where they're growing these fish is in a cesspool. Literally a cesspool. Okay. Then they take them out, wash them off, and then put them in a packet and send them to the shop.
Man, all right, okay, all right. If I was eating twice a week, it's down to one now.
So she's saying, "Oh, that's disgusting. I'm only going to do it once.
We cut it down a little bit. You know,
I'm still going to dab it though, but what?
I'm going to grill it. You know." So often than not, the fish you're eating is more poisonous to you than the meat. And fish is still meat. Okay, it's got eyes. Okay. So another thing, so people are pescatarian. Now, when they're pescatarian, they open themselves up to the whole gamut of fish. Everything from shrimp, scallops, all the way to bass, to tuna, okay? Fish is some of the most industrialized processed meat you can buy right now. Okay, I'm gonna park that there, Dr. Tam, so you can jump back on that in a second. The other part of pescatarian is the vegetarian piece. Because when people say they're pescatarian, what they're saying is that, look, I just eat one meat, it's just fish. It's harmless, it's natural from the sea. And then I eat vegetables. But what vegetables are you eating? Because the same industrialized food industry has industrialized the growing of vegetables and fruits and all plants. So now the plants you're eating is plants that are grown in soil that is devoid of the actual nutrients. Now they use genetic modification to make the plants look green. So apples are greener and rounder than they ever have.
Oranges are orange.
They're so orange. I mean, they're more orange than they ever have been. As you know, you're from the Caribbean, I'm from Africa. In Ghana, oranges are green. They're not really an orange color. That is a particular brand or type or strain of orange that was popular in Spain. They've taken those seeds and they've genetically modified it to be the orange that they now grow in Florida and places like that. Most of the fruit is seedless, meaning there is no manganese, meaning that when your body processes it, these foods are making your body sterile. So they're not enhancing you. So what's happening now with the I guess the motivation to go plant-based now, and Dr. Hampton, you come with the science, is that we're now doing smoothies, we're doing shakes with all of the GMO, non-organic, non-nutritional foods we're putting into the thing.
Pesticides.
And we're doing that every morning, and then we're drinking the coffee, which is GMO. Then we're eating slices of bread, which is GMO. It's got more ingredients than the bread should have in it. You get a loaf of bread now, it's got 100 ingredients. 75 ingredients on the back of the bread. How? There should be 3, 4, 5 ingredients tops. So this is what happens is, so what they're doing is they're duping us. And unknowingly, we're going to, I guess, food patterns that we believe are good for us, but what in actual fact we're doing, we're eating more phytoestrogens in the plants. We're big on cucumber. Cucumber is so great to put in smoothies. Soy, when soy blew up, we're doing soy milk, we're doing edamame, we're doing soy sauce, we're doing all the soy-based products, all the fake meat. Dr. Amson, we were talking about this just yesterday on and we did the iHeart and the science course, is that people that turn vegan, vegetarian now look for meat substitutes. Meat substitutes, that's where the trick is, because the meat substitutes are heavily processed plants or heavily processed non-foods to give you the illusion you're eating meat. So you can't get away from the meat psychologically, so you go looking for it in a process. And because it's very well packaged in the Happy Farms, you know, they've got the happy cow on there, and the X, it's not really a cow. This is un-chicken, this is un-beef. So you believe you're eating plant, but what you're actually eating is heavily processed plants. Think about this. I'm gonna leave it to you, Dr. Am. How do you get a pea, a green pea, to act and taste and bleed like beef? I'll let that marinate for you right there. Dr. Amson, we're talking about
so one of the things that's going on in this country right now, I don't know if it's happening in the UK and Europe yet, because I know higher standards are in the UK and Europe, right? But McDonald's and KFC, they got their they're using the Beyond and Impossible meats, right? The Beyond Meat and Impossible meats. And problem is, let's just say for argument's sake that Beyond and Impossible were actually healthy.
Right.
They're deep frying them joints. It's still going into the deep fryer
with the same meat.
With the same and it's in this process of deep frying that AGEs are being produced. AGEs are advanced glycation end products, right? Glycation is a process that happens in blood vessels where saturated fats meet sugars and mix, and they cause oxidative stress. They cause inflammatory responses. They are responsible for heart disease, for diabetes, for all these inflammatory autoimmune metabolic syndrome type conditions where they attack cells and they age. Oxidative stress is what causes aging. And AGE is the acronym, right? Advanced glycation end products, right? And so you got people who think, and the reason why any black person is going to give up meat isn't because we love animals, because let's face it, especially
no,
Jamaican,
I did it because
we don't love animals, right?
No.
We don't love them animals.
Asthma for me.
Right. So we don't do that for love of animals, because man is still wearing leather, still wear the furs, you know what I mean? Still gonna do them things there. So we give it up for health. We give up meat for health. But what's happening is that they're using this term vegan, plant-based, right? Plant-based and vegan. So we think it's healthy, but there are as many toxins in the plant world as there are in the fruit world. Viruses and bacteria live on plants and on fruits as well. And fruits have built-in, and plants naturally, wild weeds and whatnot, right? They contain mechanisms, built-in mechanisms to stave off, to inhibit infection from bacteria and viruses. But when you start GMOing, right, doing the GMO thing, genetically modified organisms, right, you lose some of those protectors, natural protectorants. So we get our medicine from those natural protectorants that are in fruits and vegetables. So now when we get the GMO stuff, it's devoid. So Mikey mentioned what's it called? What's it called?
Which one?
About the manganese. About manganese inhibitors, yeah. Right? So when you buy something and it's seedless, right? And remember, Book of Genesis, right? Genesis 1 verse 9, right? Or 2 verse 9, right? One of them verse there, right? One of them verses there, right? We're not supposed to eat any fruits where there's no seeds. Now that did not become a reality until like 1950s. So from Genesis, it was telling our generation, our time, warning us about seedless fruit. So manganese inhibitors are how they achieve seedless fruits. So when you eat fruits that have manganese inhibitors, you're putting that into your body. Manganese inhibitors. Manganese is necessary for reproduction, for fertility. So as we eat more GMO now, right, we always talk about all you have to do is, you know, sneeze on a black woman, she's pregnant, right? Now black couples are trying to have children because men are not producing sperm. Women don't have quality eggs, right? Because of these manganese inhibitors. So that's something that we have to think about, even when we're dealing with, okay, are we eating raw? And the reason why why raw fruits is so important is because of the cooking process that the raw food specialist, Brother Extra, right? What he was breaking down in heating processes, a lot of natural enzymes and nutrients can be destroyed in certain foods. Now, there are certain types of food that have more robust nutrients that can survive a heating process. But heating process also produce AGEs, also produce polyaromatic hydrocarbons, which is, you know, when you go and you grill, right? So one of the biggest things in this country, every time there's a holiday, people go out and they grill, they get on the grill and you know, they're grilling meat and whatever, and they produce even jerk. Because one of my things I used to love jerk chicken when I was a youth, right? I don't eat meat no more, but even with jerking, with the charcoal and all that, you're producing polyaromatic hydrocarbons, which are the most carcinogenic materials in the world, right?
Oh God.
So how we prepare our foods is also very important, an important factor. So, you know, I don't want to go too deep on that because I know we want to talk about the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about the COVID thing, but first I'm going to let Brother Andrew back in, and he's going to just do his final things for the things that he needed to do, and then we're going to come back. We've got a few questions in the Q&A box, so we'll wrap those up, and there's a few in there about some female reproduction issues and food in general. So we'll wrap those up, and then we'll go into COVID. So just bear with us, everybody. Andrew, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm so sorry, man, because you know what? I wanted to do all of this before our two eminent keynote speakers came in, and
It's all right, man.
you know the flow. You know the flow is going, man. And I was thinking, okay, let me get the way.
When he was talking about wearing your leathers and all, I was just thinking about you. So I was just, you know.
These two brothers, man, brothers and sisters. I mean, since these two have started, the chat room hasn't stopped bleating. If you're feeling my two kings right now and Sister Jarita, put down blood fire. Just put it down. Blood fire. I want to see some blood fire. Let these two brothers know we are listening to them, man. Some of it's getting into the heart. You know what I'm saying, man? But you know what? They're giving us medicine tonight, man, and it's love that they're speaking to us. Put down some blood fire, man, because jeez, you don't know, man. This is absolutely amazing. So let's quickly get this out of the way, and we come back to part 2. We're going to be going into COVID, obesity, the whole shebang. And you know, I had to literally get it back again because all of my PowerPoint went down. Make sure you get onto the phone. Let them know that Dr. Amsu and Brother Michael Larty is back with us all the way from Atlanta. But you can tell that they're coming from the UK understanding too, man. You don't know. So they're mixing the two together. Brothers and sisters, this is Brother Andrew Muhammad. So welcome to be here. As I said earlier, forgive me for what happened earlier. You must unlearn what you have learned. And with the West Side and the Lewisham Academy, these are two academies that we run in South London and in West London. And we do it because people like you on this platform literally support us. Brothers and sisters, just to let you know that these are just a cohort of some of our senior boys, and these are some of our junior boys. And with your help, brothers and sisters, this is what we. So, brothers and sisters, as you see there, we are literally producing a future. These are the children that they won't show you on TV. Yeah, but look at these are junior boys and girls. You're talking about age 8 years old to 11, 12 years old. And you see the discipline that some of these young boys are doing now. You know what? None of that could happen without the Queen. Look at, you know, Jarita, I said to you earlier, I like to look good. These are my daughters, man. These are some of the sisters. These are some of the sisters, just some of the sisters. And you know what? Whatever the black man does, jeez, the woman says, we can do even better. I don't know about that, but our sisters came into action, man. This is what we're producing with the help of Hidden Truth, brothers and sisters.
Mom.
These are some of our sisters, man. That's what we just call the jewel display, brothers and sisters. Come on, man. This is the youth of tomorrow. We've got to produce our own gods and goddesses, man. The sister is God. The black woman is God. You don't know every single time. Brothers, we're doing that inside. But that is our west side in the Lewisham, the south side of London. Come on, man. We had our young brothers and sisters learning rock climbing and wall climbing. Even we're taking them out of the hood, man, and we're teaching what private school children are getting taught. You understand that, brothers and sisters? Yeah, we taught them this week boxing and gym work. This was what we call fit to lead, because we're going to create a community. Are they fit to lead us? So, brothers, this is our Lewisham Academy doing their works. And I'm telling you, man, I like to look good. So, brothers and sisters, if there's, you know, if you've got it in your heart to help us carry on this work, many of you do a direct debit to us. Look at it as being your tax to the nation. This is your tax to the nation, brothers and sisters. Please join us, help us, man, so that we can literally keep this platform going on high levels. Brothers and sisters, the Hidden Truth program is with you every single Tuesday. It's free of charge. You see, we get people from all over the world on this platform. This is not a show. This is a damn movement. Yeah. So, brothers and sisters, if you'd like to help us, Charita, let them know, man, where they can go to literally donate to the Hidden Truth platform, man. Help us, man. Keep this platform free and have the best quality guests on a weekly basis. So, brothers and sisters, what's happening next week? February is going to be a month, man, of mental, spiritual, and physical health. So, brothers and sisters, we say that Black Lives Matter. Why? Because Black Black mental health matters. And next week's show, brothers and sisters, it's going to be crazy, Jurita. Next week's show is the Black woman's journey. Jeez. But dealing with it on a mental health level, man, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be mad. And in fact, Sister Samira, you know, let the brothers know, what are we going to go into next week? Why do they need to be here next week, sister?
Greetings, everyone. In 75 seconds, I'm going to do my best to share. Literally, mental health is a taboo and it should not be. So next week's show is all about how we can dismantle that stigma that surrounds mental health, but also that we can look at the impact as well of mental health issues and concerns on us as a society, family, workplace. But we're coming from a perspective of particularly how our kings and our queens can support each other when we look at the impact on the Black woman's mental health. So what we want to make sure that we can do is look at the basics. Okay, we're going to cover the basics of how we can care for ourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, obviously, physically is tonight. We're also going to look at how we can move from trauma into triumph. And that's all going to be from a space of love, maturity, and openness with tools, practical tools. I guarantee you that night, the 8th of February, if anyone says to me that they can't implement something that we share, you have not been listening, because we're going to give you tools and practical things to implement on the night. And so that, as I said last week, yes, we want to teach, but we must reach before we can teach. And so it's important that our kings are on next week, because the Black woman's journey, your support and protection is needed. So can't wait for us. Actually, I think that one of our speakers may actually be on as an attendee. I think I might have seen Sister Naomi Elizabeth there, but if I haven't, we will be having 3 speakers. Sister Elizabeth Hamilton, who's an author. She's written the In Relation to Men book. And also we'll have Danielle Pile, who's our keynote speaker. She's worked at the European Parliament level, and she's doing fantastic works, grassroots across the UK. And I'll be sharing in my capacity as a mental health first aider. So make sure that you spread the word, because mental health is not just this fad and nice thing to hear about for a little bit of time. It's real. We're going to look at this from a holistic point of view.
Come on, Mike. Brothers and sisters, are you feeling it next week? We are revolutionary, but we are solutionaries too. This is going to be solution orientated, brothers and sisters. So next week is going to be the journey of the Black woman, and it's a brother and sister show. A brother and sister show next week. Brothers and sisters, coming up next Saturday, the hidden truth of Valentine's. Oh my God. We are going to be stepping on many toes next week. The doctor's already stepping on toes tonight. Next Saturday, we are going in. We're going to be breaking down the reality behind Valentine's. And I'm telling you, man, don't come if you're going to be upset, because we are going to be going into adult themes. Adult themes will be explored. Jeez, we are going to be going into the caves and hillsides of Europe. We're going to be going and unlocking the doors of what they call, I'm not even going to go there tonight. I'm not even going, no, Jurita, I can't go there.
That Frenchie in the picture's wearing your sunglasses, Uncle, right?
No, brothers and sisters, it's a free show next week, totally free, next Saturday. I think I've got nearly 200 people already registered. Brothers and sisters, Jurita, Samira, please drop down the link so they can, it's a free show next week, next Saturday, the hidden truth of Valentine's. Bring your history glasses down, yeah? And we're gonna go into some serious, and I'm warning you now, it's gonna be an adult show, because when we release the history behind this, lick, shot, pond, Babylon, rice and peas, Buffalo Soldier, dreadlock, Rastafari, it's all coming out, brothers and sisters. And so secretly, people love to judge Black culture and Black people. Before we go back to our doctors, let's support some Black businesses. Here we go.
Secretly, people love to judge Black culture and Black people. We have to ask ourselves, how important is environment? Take a clean piece of cake and throw it in a trash can. By default, what does it become? Trash. It don't even have to touch anything dirty, but you wouldn't even eat it because you would immediately associate it with being trash. If that cake had a brain, it would have to fight to not associate itself with being trash. So take a people who were thrown in trash environments, in the trash projects, being treated like trash by the police, with a trash educational system, leaving us with a trash distorted understanding of our history, which leaves us with a trash distorted understanding of who we are, and a world that told us that our hair is trash, our nose is trash, our women is trash, our skin is trash, our men are trash, a world that told us that the continent we come from is trash, and then people have the nerve to bring up Black on Black crime. We are the cause of somebody else's effect in a system that was made for us to self-destruct. We got problems, but the fact that we are still here, still shining, still growing, highly influential, still smiling and waking up is nothing short of a miracle. Or in better words, proof of our resilience, our power, and our excellence. Some people get lemons and they make lemonade. We were given nothing. So everything that we produce came from that.
Come on, brothers and sisters. And so we're going to be going further. Don't forget, last week we had Reverend Shock.
Hey fam, this is Rev Shock, aka the Metaphysical Morpheus. I'm going to be coming at you in the United Kingdom with my family, Brother Andrew Muhammad and Lady Adele and the whole crew. We're going to be teaching you how to collapse time. We're going to be teaching you new science called memetics, but how to get your time back and how to collapse time in this ma'af. I'm looking forward to it, family. See you soon, Hotep community.
Sister Jurita, can we put down, Sister Samira, can we put down the link for this? This is going to be an 8-week course, brothers and sisters. And you know Reverend Shock don't play. You know Lady Adele don't play. And for 8 weeks, brothers and sisters, we're going to be dropping a course that's going to be absolutely taking us back to where we need to. We're going to collapse time. And don't forget tonight, we've got 12 of the most eminent scholars converging in Aswan, Egypt. And we can join them live in London, Manchester, Leeds, Kingston, Jamaica. We don't have to fly there, brothers and sisters. We can be there live with them. We want 2 million Black people, Africans, to come together and unite at one time, one place. So brothers and sisters, join us when this night comes in. All of these businesses are Black owned. Okay, brothers and sisters, holiday homes owned by Black people, brothers and sisters, support them. If you're going to have a staycation, do it through this company, Black owned, Black creative. Okay, so brothers and sisters, let's support Black businesses. It's been a phenomenal night tonight. Sister Jurita, I hand back to yourself and our eminent guests. I apologize coming halfway through their breakdown, but I can't wait. I cannot wait for part 2 whereby we're going to be going into the COVID, obesity, and the vitamin D, which some of this has already been touched on in truth in that first half, but I know that people are waiting now to say, and it's no coincidence, Jarita, that we got this time, that a time where the NHS, the government had to do a U-turn on our brothers who literally stood by their principles, man. And I feel sorry for those who were coerced and forced to take the jab, and then finding out now that they didn't really have to do it. You know, it's a serious time. So I don't know if Dr. Amsu and our brother is back again. I don't want to take up any more of your time, man. I'm ready and the edge of my seat for part 2. I hand over to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
All right, brothers.
I just wanted to say, Jarita, on the whole thing with the NHS, it's funny that the health secretary was doing his rounds trying to be bossy out there, and Dr. Stephen James had him up. And Dr. Stephen James has become more of an influence of health in the UK than the health secretary. Just some guy that decided, you know what, I'm going to speak out, because everybody else was shook. Everybody else was in the background cowering, you know, conforming. And he was like, no, I'm not having none of this. So he made his point. And that guy's been on shows around the world from just speaking up. So that's what it's all about, man. We love that.
Yeah, we've got power in numbers. And to be honest, as you know, Diana says it in the chat right now, there's way too many of us for them to kick out everybody who decided not to take it. So, you know, we've got to keep that going, and obviously put pressure back on them. I'm sure they're going to try again, because that's just the nature of the beast, but we're ready for them. Ready. Okay, so I've got a few questions in the chat before we move on. Lots of people are just asking, you know, as quickly as possible, what kinds of things should we be eating? Sister Glasmin says, should I just salt my mouth? I don't even know what to do. What are you telling me to eat, sir?
Well, it's funny that one of them adverts that just came on, where there was some exotic fruits, and one of the things in the UK that you know, we never heard of no dragon fruit. And you know, I've been in the United States for 20 years, right? Wait, 22 years to be exact, right? There were no dragon fruit in the UK when I was there, and you know, my research, things like dragon fruit, mangosteen, which also were never heard of till I was out here doing my research. These are all available through those people, you know, those great people who did that advert. These are the things, like when you're dealing with raw foods should be in the form of fruit, right? And there are some fruit like plantain that you can cook that maintain, depending on how you cook them, you know, they maintain their nutrients, right? Things like quinoa, jackfruit.
Quinoa has to be cooked though.
Quinoa has to be cooked, right? There's things that have to be sprouted, and right. Sometimes you need to heat them up to sprout them if you ain't got the time to sprout them over like 2-3 days, right? So there are like black quinoa, for instance. They're so tightly, their shells are so tightly connected, right, that it's hard to breach to sprout them. So you have to use some heat to help to release release nutrients, because sometimes nutrients have to be released because our stomachs don't have the potential or the ability to break down certain foods. But things like wild rice, right, purple sweet potatoes, guava. You know, they had guava in that what's the name of the fruit for cancer? So number one cancer.
So you must say you got alaguntagun, which they call guana.
Guana.
Yeah.
Right. Guana. What's the word? What's the word for guana? What do we call it? What's the soursop? Soursop. Oh my days. Soursop. Right. Which is not only does it help to cure cancer, it also prevents. So prevention is better than cure. So there are things that we're supposed to have in our diet so that we do not get sick. And that's, ask away. A couple more questions.
No, So what I will say to everybody, I've just put a link in the chat. There is a link to a Telegram group, and it's me who's organized that Telegram group. If you have any questions about food, I've done some dieting and I can suggest some recipes if you want to jump in there, and I will drop a few recipes into that group if you want to have a look at the kinds of things that you should be eating now. Jump in that group and I'll add that in a bit later, okay?
Rita,
Yes.
Lady Wisdom says that she went onto this diet and the course run by Dr. Amson, Brother Michael.
Yep.
And she said that she lost 24 pounds and felt really good from doing this. And she'd done this because of your recommendation.
Yes, yes. Well, little me, I lost 17 pounds in 2 weeks. And the second time I did it, I think I lost 19 pounds. So I mean, you do drop a lot of weight, but of course it's because you're not eating, but it does make you feel good. To the person who, there was another question in there talking about sleeping. You know, what could you recommend for sleep?
All right. First of all, it's what you have to cut out, right? So one of the best things, if somebody's having problems sleeping, they need to fast. They need to cut out all food. So one of the things when people do the Detox 14, the Great Black Detox 14-day challenge, they all talk about how great their sleep was, that, you know, they fell asleep quickly and they went into deep sleep when they woke up before their alarms. They would wake up before their alarms go off. So quality of sleep, when you have good quality sleep, you don't need 8 hours. You can get by on, you know, 5 to 6 hours sleep, of quality sleep. And when you don't have toxins in your body, right, that are exciting nerves, that are releasing adrenaline at the wrong times of day, that are, you know, causing serotonin to still be present when melatonin's supposed to take over, which is, you know, where your body does its cellular respiration and does its healing, is while you sleep. Cut out if you have problems sleeping, cut out meat, cut out alcohol, cut out those things, but do a fast first to get the remnant of those substances out of your body, and then, you know, then don't bring those back in. Don't bring them back in.
Can I talk to that as well, Dr. Amson? That's a great point you bring up. Something I wanted to share earlier on, because there was a comment in the chat. I was trying to read the Q&A portion, and someone asked about going cold turkey. Now, one of the biggest problems we have, all of us, whenever we learn about changing lifestyle or making any changes in our lives, I don't know how many people must be on this call that used to smoke. They tried to stop smoking. Some people haven't stopped smoking, you know, and if they've tried to change their habits, how difficult it is, right? Some of the psychological barriers we have to change come from the fact that we're malnourished. Because we're malnourished, we don't have the nutrients or the energy to even discipline ourselves. So for example, on this call today, we talked about, you know, cutting out meat and dairy and soy, and people are going to look at that and think, man, I can't cut that. That's my favorite food. Yeah, I love this, or I love fish, whatever it is. They cannot see themselves cutting it out because they're so conditioned into eating those things, or, you know, having those habits. So here's the thing. The reason why Dr. Amson is saying you have to fast, and you have to actually, the reason why I call it break the habit, because if you don't break the habit, what's going to happen is you're going to take baby steps and then you're going to go back. You're going to take baby steps and then you're going to go back. You're going to do it for a week, and then, you know, you go to someone's house, have a piece of chicken, then you're going to ride all the way back. Why you need to do the detox is this. You need to remove the bacteria from your gut that is craving the sugar, craving the carb, craving the toxins, even craving the hormones. If you don't do that, you might be able to drum up some psychological energy and say, yeah, I'm going to stop this for a weekend and work really hard and bite your nails and, you know, slap a few people in the street, but never actually overcome it, because guess what? Those bacteria are still in your gut.
Parasites.
Which is why you have to do the detox with it. First point. Second point, this whole cold turkey thing. Most of us can't go cold turkey because of the reason I just gave you. We just do not have the discipline. Physically, from a nutritional standpoint, and definitely not psychologically. That's why they have this whole FODMAP diet, and you have to sort of wean yourself off. So we're not anticipating that. Some people, they'll do a detox, and in 2 weeks' time, they come out a new person. You know, they're rejuvenated. They see the mental clarity. They feel the weight's come off. They feel the bad toxins have come off. They may have had a little breakout, but they feel like a new person. And then they convince themselves, you know, I'm not going back to what I was doing before. But a lot of people love the taste and the ritual of meat so much, and then they go to their mums, and the mum put on some jerk chicken and some oxtail, and they smell it, and then you know, they lose their minds. They have to go back to it because they don't have that discipline, which is why, again, you wean yourself off. So let's say you eat meat, you eat bacon in the morning with eggs, a full English, right? We used to call it, with bangers and mash and everything, right? Then you have a spam sandwich for lunch, right? And you convince yourself, because there's lettuce in it and it's on brown bread, you're doing great, but the spam is in there. Okay. Then you have a snack, you have some Takis or some hot Cheetos for a snack with your tea, or some biscuits. And then you go home in the evening, you have a big meal. So in a day, you've had at least 3 sizable meals, each with meat of some variation. And guess what? You work in an office. You take the train or bus to work. You work in the office, take the train or bus back home. You don't exercise. You might go to the gym once a week. You understand? And so all of these things are very, very habitual. So to break the habit, the detox 14 is absolutely critical for all those reasons. You want to go cold turkey, put something in front of you that kind of forces you to go cold turkey. When you do a water fast, now the supplements, I know we're jumping in a little bit, the supplements give your body the nutrients it needs. So you don't, you know, it kind of staves the hunger. It feeds your brain. You have the electrolytes that keep you energized, right? So the supplements give you all the energy your body needs. Because when you eat meat, most of the meat you eat.
Someone said they haven't seen spam since 1977.
I had lunch and meat and spam. You know, I don't know why that came up in my head, right? When you eat meat, a lot of the meat you eat is mostly pulp. It's mostly fake. It's just body and volume. The actual nutrients you get from your food, in fact, even the vegetables and fruits you eat, is very, very minimal. So then you insatiate, you have all this volume in your stomach and you feel full. But the actual nutrients that are derived from it are very, very minimal. So with our supplements, they go straight to the blood because you take it sublingually. You're actually getting more nutrients in the supplements than you do from eating a steak dinner, okay? And again, the waters keep you hydrated. But in that time, not eating, Dr. Amsu, you give your physical body rest, your whole GI tract, your whole gastrointestinal system a rest from having to metabolize. And so with that, you're going to bed. A lot of us eat late night snacks, right? We go clubbing and we come back and get a kebab at 10:30, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, we're eating patty and saltfish and whatever in a dance. You remove those habits, those activities from your body. Now your body can start to metabolize the nutrients you're getting. You can actually rest, which is why you have the mental clarity, better vision, better thought when you're doing these detoxes. And again, very quickly, you start to eliminate those bacteria and those parasites from the gut, which crave the alcohol, which crave the carbs, which crave the meat, which crave the sugars and the toxins. When you come on the other side of that, you no longer crave a lot of those things. So it actually helps. So for the person asking about cold turkey,
the cold turkey is the 14 days of
14
abstaining.
Days. There you go.
That's your cold turkey.
We've got this all figured out.
And another good thing about it, when you get to the other side, as you know, right, when you reintroduce food, that 4-day reassimilation, how good does that first meal taste? You can taste every ingredient. Your taste buds are revitalized, reinvigorated.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So we are going to talk about the detox, and I'm going to try and get a group together to start this on the 1st of March. So we give people some time to get their products and to get it in, and we'll all do it together on this site all together. So I'll talk about that in a little bit more time. But I think we've got to the end of majority of the questions out here. Actually, no, there is one. And this person's called Lenda. She's asking about narcolepsy. This is the last one, and then we're moving on to the next bit. She says she can't stay awake. Can you advise of any deficiencies?
Okay, so there are many reasons for narcolepsy, right? There's breathing issues that are involved. There's also neurological issues that are involved. And she would have to, we actually have a supplement called Neuroplex, which deals with the neurological side of things. But finding out what the root cause is there's a whole mess of situations when it comes to narcolepsy, but it usually the most common thing is neurological. There are all respiratory issues as well that are involved in that, right? But
I'm laughing because Helen said, is she awake for the answer? Stop it, stop. Helen, go to your beds. Behave yourself.
But Jarita, did you ask her, does she have,
I forgot
She
how
asked
you
the question
going.
twice, so she was clearly awake to realize we hadn't answered it.
That's
So
a great-
bless her.
Jarita, ask her, does she suffer from migraines?
Okay, Linda, if you are still there, please put your answer somewhere in the chat or in the Q&A box, and I'll come back to you.
Okay.
But let's move on until she does, because I can't quite see anything just yet. But if she pops up, I will come. Question is for my daughter. Yes, my daughter does, she says. Oh, bless her.
She suffers from migraines?
Yes, she does.
Okay, that's
Okay, so
definitely
Dr.
neurological.
Hampton's right. Yeah, it's neurological. You have to go and get all the tests done. But migraines are very often linked to an increase in serotonin that sweeps across the brain. Okay, and she may have the ocular migraine, and it'll be, you know, one side of the head, and so that will lead to some kind of hormonal imbalance, excess melatonin, right? So again, this is why you have to have the scans, because there may be a gland or more that are hyperactive, and so yeah, that's why I asked about the migraines, Dr. Because I know the serotonin excess,
Right.
you know, because if you have a hormonal imbalance, one hormone is predominant when it shouldn't be, and then the other hormone. So melatonin and serotonin, in Dr. You can break this down.
Now, here's what is one of the main reasons why a lot of children are having these neurological issues is due to their mobile phones, due to their tablets and that. You're dealing with blue light, right, at close range, that actually, you know, acts as an excitotoxin. So how high quality, where you're dealing with how many frames per second, we can perceive 24 frames per second. Anything above that can put us into a seizure. That's why, you know, now you're watching Netflix or whatever, it will say, you know, you're watching a show, it will say scenes of fast flashing lights, because they have to put that up there by government standards now, because people who suffer with epilepsy and seizures, they go into epilepsy and seizures due to it. On the other end, you know, where you have an extreme where something is too excited, you have things where certain hormones are deficient that keep people awake. So you have now people falling asleep because there's a deficiency of hormones to keep them alert, right? And we're dealing with lights and everything nowadays with LED lights, right? That saves energy, right? We're not dealing with incandescent lights anymore. We're dealing with LED lights, right? That are high frequency lights that mess with the whole sleep cycle. It messes with neurotransmitters. So, you know, there's so many things. High definition, the higher def something is, we should not be sitting close. We should be as far back as possible from certain things, because they actually burn the retina as well. So, you know.
All right, so we're going to move on to the COVID, the vitamin D deficiency, the obesity talk. But before we get there, I just wanted to quickly say, some people are asking, how do you get hold of their products? I've put the link in the chat. The top link is the link to get onto their website. They have provided us also with a lovely discount code, thank you so much, which is the hidden 20 to get 20% off anything that you would like to buy. The Telegram group link is also there. Some people are saying they're having trouble. Some people are getting in. I'm seeing it buzzing off now, so I think it's working. And if you do want to talk to them directly, if for some reason tonight we don't get to you, we don't get to your question, don't get vexed with me, please. You can contact them. They do 2 shows. Are you still doing 2 shows a week? I put the 2 links there, on a Wednesday and a Friday. It's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that's 10 o'clock UK time, 10 p.m. UK time on a Wednesday and a Friday. The 2 links are in that thing. You can go on there. Please, it's the Zoom that they do is not like this Zoom, okay? So if you want to ask a question, don't be in your pajamas and your bonnet, okay? Because they're going to tell you to turn your camera on and you're going to have to look cute, okay?
Well, you know what, Jarita, you know what we would like to do, in fact, is like every 2 weeks to do a call with you guys, audience, where we can have the Q&A sessions like every 2 weeks or so, if you guys have got time, that we can do more of our clinic but you guys hosting it. So it'll be still your group, but you know, every couple of weeks we do that specific to you guys, and we can do that at a better time. We'll make the time so that we ain't doing it at 10 p.m. UK time, because we do have some, you know, when we do our Wednesdays and our Fridays, we always start out with UK people, but by the time we're in the second hour, they've all fallen off, or they're doing something to try to stay awake.
Oh God, okay, so they ain't got narcolepsy though. No. All right, so I'll drop that in there. It is the link is working, guys, to the Telegram group. I mean, I'm getting people join it left, right, and center at the moment. Just please try again. So, doctors, let's talk about then COVID vaccine. Now, obviously, with what you've already said.
Oh, you're gonna say it's got straight to the vaccine, you know? Straight to the vaccine.
Well, we might as well just get there, because you know that's what everybody wants to know about. But I am assuming, because of the things that you've already spoken about, you're not for it. And why? Let's get to the nook and cranny. We ain't got long, so we've got about 20 minutes ish.
So we're not afraid of being called conspiracy theorists, because we like to have the conversation. We like to look at things and say, what if, right? So let's just entertain the idea of this conspiracy theorist, that this thing was put together to curb the world's population, right? That's the be all and end all, that they're trying to reduce the world's population, right? Over here, we have, we live in Georgia. There's this thing called, and for those of you who have internet access, look up the Georgia Guidestones, right? Georgia Guidestones, right? So there's a monument here in Georgia, and I can't remember the name of the county. It's like Elder County or something like that, right? Where this monument has all different languages: cuneiform, Arabic, Hebrew, Greek, in different languages. They have 10 sets of guides. Number one guide is reduce the world's population, or maintain the world's population at 500 million, right? So the world's population right now is 7.8 billion, right? Give or take a couple of Jamaicans, right? 7.8 billion. They want to reduce that to 500 million. Now, so let's entertain the whole talk about the vaccine and coronavirus, COVID. Who was most affected by coronavirus, by COVID-19? It was those people, number one, and you can go onto the UK National Health site, right, and get statistics. Number one, those who the most causes of death or comorbidities for death, diabetes is number one. Diabetes, right? High blood pressure and hypertensive situations, right? Breathing disorders such as asthma and bronchitis, cancers, right? So these are the highest. So who's most affected by these diseases? Type 2 diabetes, Black people, right? High blood pressure, Black people, due to bad diets, right? The elderly. So when you're dealing with coronavirus deaths worldwide, when you deal with like countries like Italy, who had so many deaths, it was all the elderly. So somebody is trying to get rid of people who no longer have an active role in society. That's the weak, sick, and elderly, right? Now, when we start dealing with, all right, what is causing the weakness and the sickness? What's at the heart of it? So we have a statistic over in this country for African-American women. 75 to 80% of African-American women are obese. That means that their BMI is over 30.
Dr. Amsu, no. Brother, you're fired tonight, brethren. I've never met you before, but brother, you're a warrior, king. Brothers, no, hold on a minute. You see, because when you got two medical experts like this, and they're not afraid to, brother, we had a Channel 4 program on last night. That dropped truth and then mixed it with false. But brother, where you're coming now, brothers, if you're feeling this, Jah, finish off that sentence. Jah, finish.
Rastafari.
Carry on teaching. Dr. Andrew, carry on teaching, King. Come on, man.
Yeah, so they're trying to curb the world and get rid of weak, sick, and elderly, right? And we're entertaining the conspiracy theories. We're putting on our tinfoil hats, right? At the moment to entertain it. So a year ago, 6 months ago, had you said, oh, this was created in a lab, it was disinformation, misinformation. One of our good brothers over here, Riza Islam, how many times did he get shut down from IG, from Instagram? He opened up 6, 7, 8 different accounts. He's trying to say, listen, it was made in a lab. Now you have Fauci under scrutiny, under pressure from Congress, saying you funded gain of function activity. Gain of function is basically you have a virus that is harmless and you amplify its pathogenicity, right? You make it more pathogenic, right? Meaning it becomes more dangerous. They've been amplifying or increasing how virulent this virus was. So they took something, and now what's coming out are the emails, right? The emails that are exposing that immunologists, virologists were telling Fauci and his people, listen, this virus is too perfect to have been created in nature. It looks like it was created in a lab on purpose. Why so? Because
shut the front door.
Big man thing, serious things, big man thing now, right? So what's been exposed is like the same guys who are like, man, I'm 70-30, I'm 60-40, that this was artificially synthesized. Fauci and his other key players said, you know what, we can get the light, we can dampen the light on this situation. And whatever happened offline, these same guys came back and said, this could not have been created in a lab. But because of the exposure, now that's why all these U-turns are coming.
Right.
Because now when people start to dig deeper, they're like, well, wait, hold on a second. That was created in a lab. Gain of function was funded by the United States NIH, right? And probably, you know, if the United States is involved in it somewhere, then UK is involved in it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Right? They used taxpayers' money to develop AstraZeneca. They used taxpayers' money to develop the mRNA vaccines of Pfizer and Moderna, promising that this is going to be something available to everybody. And then they gave them to private entities. Like, no, it's going to be licensed to these people only, right? Then they sold them into the public, and then the public were mandated, or it started to becoming mandates to take the vaccines, right? So the elderly and those people who are immunocompromised, right? Immunocompromised means that you don't have the ability or the speed of producing antibodies, right? So your antibody production, which is part of the adaptive immune system. There's 2 types of immune system, right? Innate, which is the first line of defense when a pathogen, microbe gets into your body. The first line are like white blood cells and that to attack it, to try to keep it from infecting cells. That usually happens within the first 4 to 96 hours. After that, there's an adaptive immune system, which your helper T cells and B cells do some recon, learn all the parts of a virus and or bacteria, whatever, and mature B cells create antibodies, which then go and swarm and destroy, right? People who are immunocompromised don't have the ability to create these Y-shaped antibodies that go and smother and destroy, basically suffocate whatever pathogen it is, right? Those people are number one risk of dying. Those are the people who, if anybody was supposed to get a vaccine or whatever to help them create antibodies, right? It should have been them. What they did, they start giving the vaccines, so-called vaccines, to everybody. Started talking about young, healthy people. Now, early on with COVID, they said young people are less likely to become ill, let alone die. They identified that early, yet when they started once they started approving the vaccines, they started saying everybody needs to get it. They started talking about herd immunity. All these things follow the science, which we're going to get into, follow the science foolishness, right? Where it was certain people's doctrines, and we're dealing with doctrine. The world was indoctrinated through scare tactics into saying, okay, what can we do, right? What can we do? So the mandates started coming through. Now, what's the fallout of the mandates? We saw Christian Eriksen during the Euros fall out, heart attack. We're seeing a lot of young athletes in high schools, in colleges, boxers. Marvin Hagler, they covered this one up. Marvin Hagler, our champ, Marvin Hagler, the great Marvin Hagler, right? Died from complications from the vaccine within a couple of days. It was smothered. That story didn't even see light of day, right? All these athletes now are, you have football games right now where athletes are falling out, and then people in the crowd are falling out, and games are being postponed or being temporarily delayed because of emergency medical procedures being carried out in the crowds. So obesity compromises the immune system, right? So the reason why we wanted to talk about obesity is because so many Black people, more Black people than white people, are obese. It's a plague in our community. We don't know the stats for the UK, but we certainly know the stats over here in the US, where, I remember when I was at school, a kid in school, there would be like 1 or 2 obese people in the whole school. In every grade, every year, you might have 1 or 2 because they had some thyroid issue going on, right? They had some glandular issue going on. Now, you go and look into schools, the amount of obese children is a problem, right? So they knew through this creation of this virus, which binds to the ACE2, which is the angiotensin converting enzyme 2, which is a particular receptor in the body. It binds to the receptor, which the majority of these receptors are found on the lungs. And even more so in those people with respiratory issues like asthma, who have respiratory issues due to autoimmune issues, due to obesity, due to in this highly chronic inflammatory conditions. So whoever crafted this situation, it was well thought out. Now, if you remember, just before the pandemic was brought about or brought into the media, November of 2019, it was a Netflix docuseries. What was it called? Pandemic. So they couldn't even wait until that series finished. By the time there was like 3 episodes left of that docuseries, and they brought out, started talking about coronavirus, the novel coronavirus, and that, right? So it was well planned. And earlier on in that year, they had that summit, which was, what do we do in the event of a pandemic, right? where Garvey and, you know, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation were involved in it, right? So Bill Gates, this guy who is not a doctor, did not go study any kind of medicine, has become the world authority on vaccines, where there's a conflict of interest because he's making money. Now, during this whole pandemic, what's happened is people who were furloughed and laid off due to we can't have anybody in, so all the small businesses shut down because they could not survive. So you had this transfer of wealth. While this transfer of wealth was going on, there was a real estate grab that took place. So people who could no longer pay their mortgages, who owned property, all these big conglomerates, right, and hedge funds, and that did a grab, bought up all the foreclosures and tax sales, short sales, they bought it all up. So most people who not only had businesses and owned property, now they became unemployed and renters. And who are they renting from? These same companies that did the land, the real estate grab, right? We don't know how prevalent that is, how obvious it is in the UK, right? But over here in the States where, you know, Black people are doing pretty well for themselves and owning properties and, you know, owning businesses, this pandemic saw the shutdown of the middle class. And it's the middle class who are the best fighters against government because they have the wherewithal and resources to say we're standing up to tyranny and whatever. So the divide, while that was going on, all the top billionaires doubled their wealth. So what took them, like Bill Gates, he's around what, 63?
Something like that.
Right? 63 or something like that. What took him 61 years to accumulate, he doubled in 1 year, in 6 months, in fact. Right? So
nasty.
So, you know, on that point of time, so, you know, we're talking about the conspiracy theories, right? We have long been educated to, again, we talked about the establishment, you know, Brother Andrew at the top of the call was talking about people who were forced and coerced. And we get into a lot of debates with people here about the establishment. And there's this whole thing about following the science, right? Because one thing they did very early on with the coronavirus is they brought the scientists, white men in suits, right, onto the television to help to coerce the public, because they know the public, and again, through religion as well, sorry, I brought the word up, the R word, are very easy to coach into following along with the status quo of which the government is leading, right? The Pied Piper.
Michael, you're going to get yourself in trouble today.
Yeah, you know what? We get in trouble all the time here, man. Do you know what I mean? But you see, the thing is, it's this whole thing about the science, and that here's the thing about science. We have been played with science, big S, small s, in fact, for generations. There's nothing wrong with science, big S, because science is just like math. It's just like language. It's
no, small s is the good science.
The good science, right?
Small s,
right. In that, you know, not enough of us are scientists, so that when we hear some bullshit science, we don't know how to discern that, because most of us only know science up to what, third year, fourth year, secondary school. Then we choose other options, football and cricket, right? And so we have a very rudimentary understanding of science. So it's very easy to beguile the masses. And so when true scientists pick up on this, and, you know, ones that want to question, and they put out a paper, or they put out a report, or they write an article saying, wait, I'm disputing what the government's saying here. We see them as quacks. We see them as the conspiracy parrot. We see them as the crazy scientists, because again, we don't have the knowledge to discern that. And they've used that method to beguile Black people and people of color for generations. You know, I was making this point about, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Scala Naturae, which comes from the Bible, which is basically, it's the ideology that God created a hierarchy of existence. And somehow Black people were under white people in this hierarchy. It's that same Scala Naturae that they used in slavery. Well, we can enslave Black people because Black people are underneath us. These were the scientists. This was the science that they were using at the time to validate that. So people in the South and people who were involved in the slave trade, they were justified, right? Because guess what? The scientists have validated that. And this is how we're cultured and we're educated in thinking. And so what Dr. Tams is saying, and even Brother Muhammad is saying at the top of the call, is that, look, put down their science because their scientists are funded. You made a point about the scientists that came out saying, well, this thing looks man-made. A week later, they're talking about, well, no, there's no way this thing can be man-made. Because guess what? They've been threatened. They've been threatened with having their funding removed from their school. Their schools will get shut down. Their programs will get shut down. Their PhD programs will get shut down because those are funded by Bill and Melinda Gates, World Health Organization, government bodies, grants come from other schools. So this whole thing is very incestuous. So what it does, it keeps the status quo moving.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come
even
out,
more reason why we got to keep buying from our own and support Black business and keep our money within ourselves.
Right, they were threatened, and a week later, now the public is waking up to it. They realize, oh no, I have a platform now. Now they're coming back around and doing the U-turn. The 180 is saying no. In fact, it really was man-made. There's something about this virus that didn't suit. But what I really want to push out here, and again, Brother Andrew said it, and Dr. Andrew said it, and a lot of people I'm seeing in the chat, is that we have to start to wake up to hearing information from other sources than government-funded, major school-funded, what do they call them over here? Special interest group funded bodies, mainstream media. Because what's happening is that we be conditioned to imbibe lies. Everyone needs to be a scientist. I made a reference the other day about, I can't remember which film it was. I think it was, which of the alien movie where the woman had the baby in the egg? Anyway, you know, they went to some alien planet, and every alien on this planet, well, they're not alien on their planet, they'd be alien to our planet, but every extraterrestrial, whatever it was on this planet, were highly educated. They were all scientists. They all knew about every plant and fauna on their planet. They knew about the star alignments. They knew about the moon. They knew about satellites. Everyone on the planet, because everyone on the planet was educated to a very high level. You couldn't pull the wool over their eyes. What we have now is we have, and I'm fortunate to say, you know, and maybe not people on this call because you guys are all smart and educated, but we have too many of us that are not educated enough in even rudimentary science. So that when the government spouts this bullshit, or these government bodies spout this bullshit, we lap it up, which is why we have Dr. Amsu, which is why we have Brother X that was on it earlier on, to teach us that information so we can start to discern facts from fiction, down to the food. Read the ingredients. You know how many people don't read the ingredients on food? Just read the ingredients. The thing says apple. Why is there 3 other ingredients in it? You see, just on that level alone. So when the vaccine was brought out, nobody questioned the ingredients. Look, they issued the web. Nobody went to the website to read what the ingredients were.
And now that people are questioning the ingredients, you got people saying, well, you never questioned ingredients in vaccines or anything before. Right. Why are you questioning this? Because it come out in 2 months. That's why, you know, they put it out in 2 months.
Vaccine that should have taken 10 years.
10 years, right.
To research and develop, then another 10 years in human trials before it's even, there are vaccines coming out, they started developing in the 80s, in the 70s. That's how long it takes. How on earth do we get 6 of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world that are at loggerheads, that pay more money to keep their research secret than any other company in the world, working together to create a vaccine in months? Crazy thing people have forgotten. When they started talking about companies are going to work together to create a vaccine, the US government came out and issued a statement that they are ready to deploy the vaccine. They have stockpiles of the vaccine. The vaccine hadn't even been made yet.
Right.
Gosh.
That's a conspiracy theory. But the general, I got to go and look up, the general that made the statement said, no, we've already got stockpiles. And as soon as the government says we've got to issue it, we're ready to start deploying the vaccine. It hadn't been created yet.
So this is the thing, is that what the biggest shock to me is that Christians have been trained from since birth
Don't do it.
about the mark of the beast.
Oh, you're gonna do it.
Right? The mark of the beast. All right, why am I going to church? Because of the mark of the beast. From your youth, that's what you're trained in. The mark of the beast, 666, it's coming, right? It's coming.
Yeah.
Churches are now vaccination centers.
Yeah.
Churches.
Oh gosh.
Oh no.
Oh gosh.
Go there.
Oh gosh.
You
Oh,
didn't
gosh.
go there. This
Let's
is
keep it real. Let's keep it real.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Listen, the only minister that I know of
Woo!
is Farrakhan that's saying, do not take the vaccine.
Shit.
Every single Christian minister There might be a couple. I'm throwing it out there. I'm challenging anybody to tell me
The real
a
ones will fight
Christian
back.
minister that ain't down with the vaccine. Because I know the church that I went to when I was a child is a in Willesden New Testament Church of God.
Oh,
I'll put the
gosh.
name out there.
Oh gosh.
Willesden High Street, Willesden High Road,
Oh
right?
gosh, it's just down the road
Is
from
a
me. Go on.
is a vaccine center, right? Where obviously, if they're a vaccine center, that means that their congregation probably have all taken the vaccine. Where their thing is, we don't understand it, follow the science, trust the scientists. And you got these same pharmaceutical companies that have been notorious for side effects, for caring more about profits than human life, right? That have never given a monkeys about Black people, telling us now, well, the vaccine's safe. And then they're getting news readers to, it's safe. And then politicians, it's safe. Politicians are liars by nature, right? But yet, because we're so scared, all right, they're all saying it must be true, it must be safe. But all the side effects, the myocarditis, the Bell's palsy, the embolism that's taking place, right? Where you have now undertakers who are coming out in the UK saying, man, look, I don't care if you want to get rid of me, but we're seeing a whole bunch of thrombosis and heart attacks, deaths by thrombosis, thromboembolism, right? It's gone through the roof. Where we might have had 10 cases a year, we're seeing in the space of a month, 140 cases. So something's not right.
True.
So this is what we're dealing with.
Right. Listen, because Brother Andrew is militant, he'll come on here and he'll chop us down. So I'm aware of time. And to be honest, the show finished about 15 minutes ago, but we've still been going. So what I want to do is for the last few minutes is just let people know where we can get your products and give them a little bit more insight into the detox. And then I will put down some details so people can contact you if necessary. And if you've got some time, if we've still got time, I doubt we will. But if anybody's got any questions, I can direct them to where to get more information.
All right. So we have a non-profit company called Electric Health. And Electric Health has done this thing where what sparked us to go really hard was the disparity in deaths, right, among Black people, right? Black people are falling out, dying, 7 times as much as white people, right? Because of these comorbidities, because of diabetes, high blood pressure, asthma, heart conditions, and so on and so forth, right? So we created the Great Black Detox. So the site is greatblackdetox.com. And we have the Great Black Detox 14-day liquid challenge, which is a liquid fast, a detox, right? We also have a drop-down thing called My Conditions, which is very important. So we have this drop-down, My Condition, where you can check conditions that you may suffer from, and it will show you which supplements that you need, and you can add them to your detox. But these are lifestyle supplements that you should take in order for your body to start reversing the condition, right? So there's remedy. We offer remedy by providing nutrients that the body would otherwise not get in the form of these sublingual tinctures, that when your body has the resource, as you know, when you give your body the correct nutrients and resources, it heals itself. The body's going to find homeostasis and heal itself. So we have that My Condition. So when you're doing a detox, like a 14-day, you add the extra, let's just say you have high blood pressure or hypertension or heart disease or blood clots. We have a supplement called Deep Vein, which you add to your detox supplements. You take them all together, hold them under your tongue for 5 to 10 minutes before swallowing, and that will do that. We also have the Great Black Detox app, which is a community app where, you know, we'll set up a group for you guys. Like you said, you have your Telegram. We can actually create a group. We do have a group called Brick Fam right now, where all UK people are in this Brick Fam in the Great Black Detox app. It's available on iOS and also on the Google Play Store, right? So it's available on Android and Apple. So we have greatblackdetox.com, right? The Great Black Detox app. And it's basically where people share their journeys and also ask questions. Where can I get distilled water? Where can I find soursop? Where can I find guava? Where can I find camu? What's the, you know, people post pictures of different types of fruit. What's that? Oh, this is camu. This is dragon fruit. This is whatever, you know. What's it good for? So this community app is also accountability partners as well. So while somebody may be finding it hard, there are people who can help them through, you know. So we have the Great Black, we have different detoxes on that site, on the website. So we have the Great Black Fibroid Detox. We have the Great Black Prostate Detox, right? The Great Black Endo Detox, which is for endometriosis. The Great Black Fat Detox. So you got people who are morbidly obese, right? So we have a detox for people where they don't have to necessarily go cold turkey and stop eating altogether, where they go intermittent fasting. So we have meal plans where you eat once a day. So you have a window where you eat, which is basically, you know, from the Elijah Muhammad legacy of how to eat to live. So it's that 1 meal a day, 1 meal a day. And the one meal that you do eat a day, there's no meat, no dairy, no processed foods. You know, you're not eating a mountain because, you know, I remember, you know, doing Ramadan and that, where we would wait until the sun go down and it's like a big slap up, massive meal. I'm gonna eat as much as I can when I finish my fast. It's about eating a nice hearty portion, you know, a smaller portion of food, and eating once a day, and it's high quality amino acids, high quality nutrients that your body needs. So we have in our detox, we have a fruit detox, Great Black Fruit Detox. We have what else? I said the fat detox,
you said
right?
Athlete, you said fat,
well,
you
I
said
haven't
fruit.
said the athlete.
Yeah.
Great Black Athlete Detox. So we got different types of
You said fibroids,
detoxes for different aspects that people may need. And, you know, it's just, we're dealing with Black people, and, you know, as Black people, we need the top quality nutrients, right? Because we metabolize differently than white people. There's a difference in how we metabolize foods. So stuff that's good for white people is not good for us, but everything that's good for us is good for everybody. So, you know, if somebody's white and they want to do our detox and get the nutrient, it's great for them. It's overkill for them. But us as Black people, as to maintain being God, you need to eat God foods. Yeah. If you start eating devil foods, you become less than yourself.
Can I say as well real quick, guys? Dr. Hampson said it, well, you don't need to hear from me. Testimonials. People are very dubious, and it's fine. We're totally okay with it, which is why we do the Q&A sessions every week, because we're open. We don't block anybody. We don't block anyone on our social media. We don't block anyone from coming on our calls. Anybody wants to come and complain or say what they want, they can do. We don't get complaints because we keep it 100. We keep it real. Now, for those of you that are contemplating that need to do something different in their lives and they're not sure what to do, of course, you can come on our platform and join those Q&As. Dr. Amster, we have the My Condition tool. So you go into the website and you click on My Condition, and it really just tells you whatever ailments you think you may have. It'll tell you what supplements are there for that. But listen, guys, testimonials. Go to our YouTube channel. It's YouTube.com/The Great Black Detox. We have over 100 videos on there. We have full-length Q&A videos on there. We have snippets on there as well. Register, subscribe, and click for notifications. The Great Black Detox on YouTube. Download the app. It's on Android or it's on Apple. The Great Black Detox app. It's the community app. You can hear from people. Listen, if you're worried about doing a detox or just changing your lifestyle, you're not sure what to eat, as Dr. Hampson was saying, go into the app. Ask people. We have a ton of people in the UK, all over Northwest. I think a lot of people are from Northwest London, right? I can only imagine.
And me.
Exactly. Who have done the detox, who are doing the detox, who have had fibroids, who've had their fibroids dissipate, who've had their cysts eliminated, who've had these things dissolved naturally, who've avoided surgery. Because what Dr. Hampton talked about, we didn't get around to it, is so many women have been told that they need to have surgery. Now the doctor's been monitoring, the OBGYN has been monitoring their fibroids.
Said sorrel,
right? For
a bit
years.
of sorrel in this and black grape.
You know,
Told you.
and they've been told they need surgery, invasive surgery. That's where the money is. Even on the NHS, a lot of people are going to private medicine, but here in America, it's where the money is. They want you to go and have operations, but guess what? You do that and the fibroids come back because you don't deal with the root cause. All of our protocols, listen, we don't want to see you again. We want to hold your hand and get you through the change in your life, but we're not into the money. We're not into operations.
And I just wanted to say this, the point that we were making about vitamin D deficiency, right, is because you guys in the UK, you're not getting any UVB from the sun right now, right? The reason why there's a cold and flu season in the whole world, right, is when, if you're above 35 degrees latitude, right, during winter, you're not getting any UVB. So you're not synthesizing vitamin D or vitamin D in your body. Vitamin D is so important for fighting pathogens, microbes, right, in your body. It's an immunomodulator. Not only is it prevalent in over 2,000 immunofunctions in your body, it also inhibits pro-inflammatory cells. Those are the ones that cause all the damage. So we have a great black virus detox, right? Which throughout the winter, we recommend people take this because prevention is better than cure. To have your body armed and optimized, your immune system to be optimized so that if you do come in contact with whether it's Omicron or Delta or Omicron's cousin, them calling it right now, right? The cousin of Omicron, right? That your body has an optimized immune system that it can fight it off, where, you know, you don't get sick. And if you do start getting symptoms, they'll be mild. They'll be milder symptoms, so you don't end up in hospital. Now, brother Nuri Muhammad.
We're gonna have to wrap it up now, bro. Sorry about that.
The brother, I was just gonna say to you, the brother Nuri Muhammad, you know, he took our was on our virus detox while he had a very short stint of COVID because he was on our protocol for it.
Absolutely brilliant. Brothers and sisters, I'm gonna ask you a question because time really has gone. Brothers and sisters, not for me. Do we need more time? Do we need a part 3 with these two brothers? I'm gonna let you answer the question, not me. Do you think we need a part 3? Because right up to the end, the brother was going into the vitamin D, which I was waiting for, and bam, he started to chop the knowledge down. Brothers and sisters, I want to see what are you saying to the investigator? Because these two, and what's so beautiful is when you see two brothers working in unison with each other. It ain't just the knowledge, it's the fact that, wow, that is what they don't want to see. Two wise, intelligent, handsome kings working in unison with each other, man. Go on, lick shop on Babylon. Yeah? Absolutely serious. Absolutely. Brothers, I don't know if you can see your chat, okay? It's still going. It's on fire. Brothers, I'm going to say publicly on air right now, would you be interested in coming back again?
Again and again and again and again.
Absolutely.
All right, brothers and sisters, you heard it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. This has been a phenomenal night. Jarita, you know, behind the scenes, you're the one that makes it happen. Let's bring these two brothers back on ASAP. I can see that there's still more depth to what they want to say and the knowledge they want to partake, okay? Brothers and sisters, what's tonight magnificent? We've traveled all over the world tonight and ended with our two eminent guests. Brothers, don't go anywhere yet.
I just want to say one thing though, just to remind everybody, and I think Jarita might have put it into the chat. So we have a discount code, Hidden20, for a 20% discount for all, and that is from now until whenever. You know,
Okay.
any listeners or viewers of Hidden Truth, Hidden 20.
Say that one more time, King.
Hidden 20, HIDDEN 20, the number 20 is the discount code at checkout where you get a 20% discount.
So yeah, that, brothers and sisters, by coming onto the Hidden Truth platform, listening to our eminent speakers, the keynote speakers, Brother Michael, Dr. Amsu, you are now going to be a part of that discount scheme, brothers and sisters. So by being a member of the Hidden Truth movement, it's already saving you money. With the top, look, man, when they're literally looking after people like Brother Nuri, then you know the quality of these practitioners. They don't play. Brother Nuri doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, he doesn't go anywhere. So the fact that they are going to them, you know, this is absolutely phenomenal. Brothers and sisters.
So somebody asked if I'm going to be doing the detox with them. If there's 20 people that will do it, I will do it again. You know, I've done this detox twice now. It's hell on earth. I'll tell you that. It's not easy, but it's doable and you can do it. I mean, I've done it twice now. If there's 20 of you that join up and say that you're going to do it, I will do it again on the 1st of March with you, okay? But I'm not doing it just with one person. So we have to do it all together because trust me, like I'm going to need the people there to back me on my days where I just want to eat some food. So 20 of you sign up. Tell me on my Telegram group that you're going to do it. The 1st of March, we all start it together. And we're lick Easter looking like Naomi Campbell and Ting and Chris Biscuit and slim and nice.
Brothers and sisters, let's not forget our beautiful sister, the owner and director, the CEO of Float Tuition. Please make sure you sign up your children with this beautiful queen. I've worked with this sister over 20 years ago, and she produces nothing but top quality students. If you've got students that are doing their GCSEs, their A levels and so on, put them with this particular queen. At least hit her website, investigate her credentials. She is phenomenal. I can actually count for her. Let's not forget the Raw Food Disciple. Come on, brothers and sisters. The Raw Food Disciple was with us live today. Absolutely powerful. Absolutely a king. He will be coming back again by the grace of Allah. He will be coming back again to blow up this platform and talk more about his recipes and what he offers. Don't forget next week. The Black woman's journey. Yeah. Black lives matter when your health matters. Yeah. And so we're going to be going into more depth. This is something for brothers and sisters. Let's move on a level together, brothers. Let's take this journey with the Hidden Truth. The Black woman's journey. Why do we need to do this? Because Black women, we know as men, you've been carrying us for the last 500 years. For the last 500 years, our sisters have been carrying the liberation struggle spiritually, mentally, and physically on their backs. Next week, let's talk about this health and what it counts for. We've still got over 400 of you on the platform. Let's not forget, Jurita, if you can put it down, the Hidden Truth of Valentine, make sure you literally get your ticket tonight. And we will be getting into some adult themes because we're gonna have to explore some of the realities. Brothers and sisters, don't forget about One Africa. One Africa. Let's join in with 2 million Black people all over the world and listen to 12 of the most eminent scholars. Let's make Africa one again, brothers and sisters. We're gonna come back together as one. Let's not forget our 2 phenomenal key